What is up, everybody? Good evening and welcome to Let's Talk Dallas Cowboys here on this Saturday evening.
Let's go!
As you can see, my name is Alan, and I am feeling better. I am well. I know the last show I was on, I was under the weather, which is why I went, audio only for that show. But I am feeling better, ready to be back on camera. Sorry, everybody, who says I have a face made for radio, but but yeah, back at it, ready to get back at it, and hopefully, the Cowboys are the same way after the shellacking they took this past Sunday against Buffalo. But joining me, as always, are the guys from the Bottom Line Sports. We got Flo and Canteen. Gentlemen, what's good? How we doing?
What up? The Bottom Line Sports is here. Man. Let's talk Dallas Cowboys now, Alan. Let's talk some Dallas Cowboys.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Unfortunately, we couldn't get either of our Miami co-hosts to show up tonight. Obviously, due to the holidays, it is a busy time of year, so it is understandable. We do want to give them a quick shout out though, because I was on their show this past Monday. Let's talk Miami.
Oh, so you came on their show?
Yeah, I was on your show. Hey, here's the thing: Christmas season takes priority. Gotta at least reason with that. So shout out to Johnny, shout out to Alex. You guys are awesome. Thank you for having me on your show this past Monday to talk Miami Dallas. But we're gonna talk some Miami Dallas a little bit more as well with us. Yeah, that's basically what this game is. Who's fake and who's real at this point? As far as
I think those guys are just chickens. They didn't want to show up.
We kid. But yeah, before we can even talk about this week's game, we have to go back and unfortunately relive the nightmare that was the game in Buffalo last week. Starting with the health of the players, of course. 12 or more guys getting food poisoning basically the night before. A lot of people weren't 100% for this game. It's by no means an excuse, but at the same time, don't eat the food in Buffalo is what I've said at least twice now this week. So
let me say this.
They gave Dak and some other players some bad food. I think that's what happened, man.
Let me say this, Alan, man. I'm about 30 minutes from Buffalo up here in Niagara Falls. So when I'm driving down the road, I just right past Buffalo. I don't want Burger King, McDonald's. I don't want none of their restaurants, no chicken wings.
Well, it's not that they have bad food. Is that they try and get you if you're there. You're from the opposing team.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
that's what.
Especially if you're from Miami, New England, or New York as well. If you're
any team that's a rival or for the other team, man, they're gonna come get you.
Right.
The bad pizza.
The bad pizza, yeah, definitely. But I basically can describe this game in two words, and that is James Cook, because they fed him the ball all game long, and for some reason, no adjustments were made to stop the run. James Cook basically had his way with the defense all game long. Offense looked out of sync. Really, I like to kind of akin that. I know people are going to throw this out, but I like to akin that because to the two hits that Dak took to the head at the beginning of the game.
But he's not in concussion protocol.
He wasn't in concussion protocol.
Never been. So I don't know if you can attribute to that.
I don't know if you can attribute it to that. I kind of would like to think that because I've taken shots to the head too, and sometimes it's thrown it off my game.
It's just one of those games where the Cowboys is just like,
it's just where were you? I will say they did run the ball effectively. At the beginning, but by the time but you can't really run it more than you can try, especially when you fall down early in that game the way they did. And it's not like Josh Allen lit him up. Josh Allen didn't have that good of numbers. They didn't need him
at all.
They didn't need Josh Allen. They didn't need Stephon Diggs. They just handed it to one guy only.
But that's the problem. How does Josh Allen not beat you in that game? If you'd have told me the stats Josh Allen had, I'd have said we beat them.
No. So
Right?
let me caveat on what Josh Allen had. Josh Allen was 7 for 15, 94 yards, 1 touchdown for throwing.
Nothing.
So
Yeah,
they utilized their run game to win the football game. Josh Allen had to sling it. He didn't have to throw it. He had to run it. They utilized Cook for 25 carries, 179 yards, and he scored 1 touchdown. That's how they won the football game. When you look at Saquon Diggs.
but that's what I'm saying. That's my point exactly, though. You're making my point, I guess.
And that's a test. That's a testament to coaching. That's a testament to Sean McDermott, and that's a testament to Joe Brady because they kept running the football. Because you see teams that do that. You see teams that are running the ball effectively, and and you think, oh, we got to incorporate the pass, so they get off the run, and then the wheels fall off. Buffalo was just like, oh, the run's working, and they're not stopping it.
Here's the thing. Since when have they ever kept to the game plan or had a good game plan like that? They've never done that. When is the last time Josh Allen only threw it that many times? I don't think ever in his career.
I don't think.
So
he's
I'm
ever
saying
done
that was an anomaly. They never stick to that game plan.
I think they were just thinking if they're not going to stop it, we're going to keep doing it.
So
here's no one ever does that.
Here's the question.
And that's kind of on Dan. And that's kind of on Dan Quinn too for not adjusting the defense.
What does Dan Quinn do in a situation like that? What does Dan Quinn do, and what does our defense do to improvise when they're running the ball down our throats?
You got to come down. You got to put 8 in the box or something. You got to do something.
Do you think they were just focusing too much on Josh Allen and how he could beat him with his leg? How they could beat him? Beat him with his legs. Is that what? Were they? Was he overcomplicating the defense a little bit too much to the point where it's just like, oh, we're just going to hand it off. We're going to give it to James Cook every play. Go stop him.
Right.
They got out physical. Let's just say it how it is. They got out physical in that game.
They got outplayed, man.
And again, it's the same narrative. People are going to keep bringing it up all the time now. Cowboys can't play on the road. They can't beat good teams on the road. They're 3-4 on the road. And, they score differently when they're not in Dallas. This narrative is going to keep coming up until they show that they can do it. I think this is this game coming up is a perfect opportunity to kind of quiet that narrative because Miami's got a stigma of their own they got to worry about. But again, like you guys said, they just got outplayed and out physical in this game.
Now, here's the question, Alan. How do we bounce back? How do we bounce back from a road loss? How do we build upon going? Because we're going to the same division, AFC East. Now, Buffalo,
different type of climate because Miami's still sunny at this time.
But the weather was no factor in Buffalo.
Yeah, weather was not a factor.
We can't even count on that. We can't even say that.
Well, here's the thing with Miami, though. I don't think they're as physical as what Buffalo is. They're quick and they can get after you. They can get after you with speed. The problem is, and I was talking to Ken about this before we went live earlier. Their offensive line is in shambles. They're down to third string center, third string guards. They have some issues on the offensive line. And you knock one of these guys down, they could get injured. I mean, Tyreek's still kind of questionable going into this game tomorrow. I think he said he's going to play, but you make one good hit on Tyreek Hill, you might knock him out of the game. I'm not saying hurt the guy, but I think you can out physical Miami at the point of attack. And I was telling Canteen earlier, I would like to see the blitz a little bit more because I think if you get Tua off his footing, that gives your defense. That gives your defense.
Are we moving on to Miami, or are we going to finish this game? What are we doing?
I mean, it's kind of transitioning, but I would like to. Like you said, I would like to see a little bit more urgency on defense, like. At least if something's not working, at least make an attempt to fix it. Because I didn't see that. I didn't see that Sunday. I saw the same thing the whole day. And it's like you said, we just got outplayed, outcoached, out physical. Then it did not look good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. And so in some ways, I guess you could say we're due for a loss. We'd won like 5 straight or something.
5-6 in a row, something like that.
Yeah, so we were due, I guess, for a loss. I mean, no one ever goes undefeated. It could have been just lack of focus going into Buffalo, and like you said, maybe they focused too much on Josh Allen. And so, hey, what's going on? Is that Cruz or who is that? Back it up binge. That's Miami.
That's the
right?
back it up binge. Yeah, the back it up binge. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I just feel like, man, we had a couple, football, they always say any given Sunday or is it a game of inches. And there was that one play to Cooks that Dak didn't hit. There was the fumble that didn't get reviewed or we didn't challenge it, and it was a fumble.
Right.
So there's a couple of big plays early on, and there was that kind of questionable penalty on Josh Allen where they got the first down. That's where they scored that touchdown. And so they went up 14-0 all of a sudden, and it was like 2 or 3 missed plays, missed opportunities, and all of a sudden it's 14-0, and we're just not a come from behind team. And so,
and then you had the personal foul. You had the personal foul on the punt. They called it roughing the kicker, and
instead of running
into it.
That was one of those calls too as well, Alan.
You just had a few things not go our way, and then all of a sudden it just kind of
spiraled out of control.
Definitely
downhill spiral. It was a downhill
and once you go down 14-0, we have never been in that position and been able to come back this year.
We had a propensity to bounce back and come back.
I don't know that we're even able to do that. I don't know if we're built to do that.
We're not able, man.
So that might be an issue. It could be. I mean, you could say the same thing about the 49ers. The 49ers in those three games they lost, they got behind. And once they got behind 10 points, the 49ers lost.
It's hard for teams to bounce back.
Philadelphia the same way. Philadelphia's the same way.
Yeah, but Philadelphia's come back in some of their games and end up winning. I'm saying when you get behind by 10 points or more, I think San Francisco lost all 3 of those games. Once they go down 7 to 10 points, they could never come back. And then we're kind of the same way.
So what you're saying is
that Kansas City's kind of the same way. If you look at them, Kansas City's the same way.
Yeah, but I mean they're able to keep it closer. But yeah, they could be the same way. Their problem is their offense. But either way, if they're down or up, it seems like their offense is just not clicking right now.
So
our offense clicks and we get rolling, and it's. I mean, we really snowball.
The thing with Kansas City. The thing with Kansas City is you could double Travis Kelce, and that takes away any option that Patrick Mahomes has. He can go to Rashee Rice, but everybody else I don't trust, especially.
There's nobody you trust on there. That's the problem, yeah, for sure.
For us, man, for us as Cowboys, if we're up, we're gonna win. If we got to come back and struggle to try to come back and struggle and win, if we have a struggle, it's hard for us.
And no one gives the 49ers that motif that hey, they can't come from behind, even though it's just because they've been ahead so many times. The only times it's kind of way behind them now. That those 3 games, 3 game skid that they had. It's all behind them now. No one really pays attention because they're beating everybody or blowing them away. So
I get people want to put Brock Purdy on a pedestal, and trust me, he's been great. He's been great for them.
I mean,
but when you don't have Debo, when you don't have McCaffrey in the lineup, he's a different quarterback. He needs those security blankets to have his success. That's all I'm saying. He's a good quarterback. He's a solid quarterback. He just needs Debo. He needs McCaffrey. You need your playmakers.
I'm saying they're a lot. 49ers are a lot like us. If you get down by double digits, you're probably not going to win the game. You're probably going to lose. And
this should be a good test for them coming up. They've got Baltimore on Monday night, so this should be a good test.
Baltimore tends to jump on people. If they jump ahead on the Niners, I'm saying they're not going to come from behind. That's just not the kind of team they are. We're not that kind of team, and it is what it is. I mean, I don't know what you can attribute it to. Poor preparation. I don't know, just choking. I don't know what you could attribute to, but exactly pinpoint it. But as soon as we get down, or even the 49ers, and people aren't going to, say that, the 49ers are great. They're a great team. But get them down by 7 to 10 points. But
you got a problem.
They got a problem. They're not going to be able to win. That's how they lost their 3 losses. I mean, it's just, it is what it is.
once they're down flow, it's hard for them to bounce back and reciprocate or bounce back or try to move
And
forward.
it could be that we don't have the quarterback to do that, right? Like Mahomes, and maybe you could say quarterback and personnel. I mean, Mahomes was coming back.
I think we have the quarterback to do that. I think we have the quarterback to do that.
I don't think we do. I don't think we do.
So you don't think that?
No. I think it's the running game. I think the running game's the problem.
Alan, if we have that, how many comeback from behind wins does Dak have?
He has quite a bit, actually.
Is he? I don't think so.
Yeah, he has quite a bit, actually.
Not in the last 3 years.
Not in the last 3 years, no.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. That's what he is. 3 or 4. He had that maybe his first couple of years, but he had a stacked team on offense, really. He had a great Zeke. He had a lot of help on offense. On defense, it wasn't as great. But what I'm saying, we don't have that kind of quarterback. We don't have that kind of quarterback.
I think the thing is also, like I said earlier, they got out physical. If you out physical this team, they're gonna lay down.
I mean, maybe on the defensive line, but maybe not as a whole though. We just had some things not bounce our way, and we got behind, and that was it. I mean, we're just not built that way as a team to come from behind. We don't have the quarterback. We don't have the personnel. We don't have the play calling. Whatever it is, we don't have it.
We don't have the propensity to bounce back. And if we don't win head up or win
bounce back game to game,
we can bounce back. But if we're not winning and winning well, we ain't coming back. That's just the facts.
Yeah, that's the truth. This year for sure.
Mm-hmm. They gotta figure it out though. They gotta figure it out within the next year.
Alan, it's either this: you're gonna win and move forward, or you're gonna lose and be done. There's no way we're gonna just say with us right now. Dallas has a propensity to either play in the wild card in Atlanta, Tampa, whoever the NFC South is, what have you. But we'll end up either going to San Fran, probably San Fran. There ain't no coming back. You got to be winning up front.
Yeah, that's why I'm hoping that they pull it together and win the division, because I think that's an easier path for us. I mean, you're still probably going to have to go to San Francisco anyway, but at least that would be in the championship game instead of the divisional round. Right. At least you get at least one more game to get there.
And we should have won last week. We had to beat Buffalo. We would have been in a great position because because the Eagles lost to Seattle anyway. But we lost.
And even if we do win out, if they win out, they win a division based on strength of record.
Right.
I think Giants have their number, but for some reason, I think if the Giants are going to win, they need to win that first game, even though it's on the road. If they lose that first game, they're going to lose that last game too. That's how I feel.
I think you need to catch them while they're. You need to catch them while they're down right now.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's part of it too. I think if the Giants are going to beat them this first game they play them.
If the Giants win on Monday night, it's Monday night, right?
Monday evening, I believe.
Monday after, it's a wrap, bro. It's a wrap.
Even if we lose this game to Miami, if the Giants beat the Eagles, we can still beat Detroit. We can still beat Detroit and Washington and still win the division.
Commanders.
Even if we lose this game to Miami, because they're an AFC team.
You absolutely.
So, but here's the thing, Alan. And
you don't want to have that happen. You want to go into Miami and beat them.
Well, here's what I said on our show, the Bottom Line Sports. I said, that's it. If we lose any of these 3 games, we're going to be in the playoffs. But we're not going to do anything in the playoffs. If we lose any of these 3 games, I have no confidence we're going to make even the NFC Championship. There's no way we do that. If we have to win out for me to have any kind of confidence that we're going to make a run. If we lose any of these games, we're done in the playoffs. I don't care what anybody says.
All right. So before we get in there, I gotta ask you this then, because this was asked to me earlier this week. Do they get rid of Mike McCarthy if they're one and done?
No. Why?
Do they get rid of him?
Do they fire Mike McCarthy if they're one and done?
Why would you?
Yeah, I don't think you fire him.
Nah, man. I think he's done a hell of a job.
I mean, if you're consistently, because if it happens again, this would be the 3rd year in a row that they would go 12-5 at least. So the 3rd year in a row. So if you're consistently winning 12 games, how do you fire that guy? That's just
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Here's the thing, Alan. You can't fire a guy like McCarthy. McCarthy's had a great season. The games that we have lost close games on the road. We lost at Philly. We should have never lost to Arizona, right?
Yeah, but you know how we lost? Look at all our games we lost, Canteen. It's because we fell behind. Whether it was a good team or a bad team,
fell behind and couldn't
fell
stop
behind
the run.
by 10 points or more. We don't win the game. That's just
fell behind and
if you're a
couldn't
good
stop the
team or a
run.
bad team. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, if you fall behind, teams are going to run the ball. I mean, that would be the smart thing to do in the NFL. If you are ahead by 10 or 14 points, you start running the ball. And that's what happened to us. It happened to us in Arizona. It happens to us with the 49ers. Even with the Eagles, we fell behind that third quarter. The Eagles got 14 points, and we didn't score anything in that third quarter. We were behind. We almost came back, but we just can't do it. If we fall behind like that, we are not going to be able to come back. No matter if it's a good team or a bad team, it doesn't matter.
Correct.
At least this year.
Correct.
So,
Will there be any coaching changes, do you feel, this offseason?
No.
I mean, unless Dan Quinn leaves.
I don't think Dan Quinn's going. I don't think Dan Quinn's going anywhere. I think he wants to stay in Dallas.
Dan Quinn is the best fit for a defensive coordinator job, man. He don't want to be a head coach no more.
I think he wants. I think he wants to stay in Dallas.
Well, I think he wants to be. I think he wants to. Every coach, don't they want to be a head coach? It seems like every offensive or defensive.
But he's screwed, Flo.
He's
screwed.
I realize that, but I'm saying that still might.
He's been on record. He's been on record saying that he wants to stay in Dallas. I know that they're going to keep bringing his. I know they keep bringing up his name in every candidate, chase every year. He's been on record saying he wants to stay in Dallas because he likes what he has building here. So they just need. Just need good interior pressure to stop the run, and they who I think we really missed this year, Demarion Overshawn. I think he would have helped a lot in the run game this year.
What about Diggs? I mean,
Diggs as well.
He was injured. Yeah, he was ready.
I mean, but people don't talk about the injuries we've had. We've had key injuries to Overshawn and Diggs. Man. I mean, you kind of forget about it, and Bland had a little run there where he had a few he kind of did well, but he's not Diggs. And so I think people have overlooked the fact that we were really shorthanded on defense. We lost two key players on defense. And that may be even part of the reason. And Vander
Let's not forget Vander Esch.
Vander Esch as well. And that'd be part of the reason why they were able to gut us on the run and
linebacking course, I love Marquise Bell a lot. I think he's done a great job. But the linebacking core is is probably the weak point of the defense. Aside from Micah, the linebackers core is the weak part of the defense.
Hey, then we see Vander Esch.
But here's the thing, right? What?
We saw him walking out of the stadium, right? That was the guy you kept calling his name?
That was Lewis.
Oh, no, the guy that was walking out of the stadium when we was walking out, you saw that
that was Vander Esch.
That was Vander Esch, that's the name you was calling,
Yeah, that was Vander Esch. Yeah, he was walking out as we were walking by. He was walking out in street clothes. And everybody's like, hey, Vander Esch. And they're all, telling his name and stuff. But yeah, that was him. Is he gone for the year? He's gone for the year, right?
Vander Esch, yeah, he's out.
And here's the thing.
Do have some breaking news. Do have some breaking news that does concern this game. Tyron Smith is out tomorrow. No Tyron Smith.
What?
So it's probably going to be Tyler Smith at left tackle.
Is Zach Martin still out too?
Martin's questionable.
Oh my gosh, that's not going to be good.
Martin is questionable. Malik Hooker is still questionable. Jonathan Hankins is out.
We got to score early then. We got to get on these guys.
We got to score early and often.
Merry Christmas, go Cowboys. Hey, yeah, we definitely have to score now. But here's the thing: early on when we lost Diggs, remember how our defense was playing, especially against the Giants. And after we lost Diggs, I mean, Dan Quinn did have to adjust a little because, he could do a lot of one-on-one coverage on the back end. He didn't have to worry about, you had Diggs on one side, and then of course you have what's his name on the other side? Oh, I can't even. Gilmore on the other side, right? And so he was a little more free to do different things, with the front seven. But after he lost Diggs, he had to adjust. And then, like you said, we lost Vander Esch, and Overshawn was already gone before the season. And so we're that linebacker core is hurting, and our defense is still playing well at times, but like you said, when we fall behind, they just got to run the ball on us and
I really think
off.
So to kind of get into the game here, I really think we got to run the ball. If we don't have Tyron in this game, I think you got to run.
We're not going to run.
Got to run.
You know that we're not. We haven't run it all year, Alan. Come on, we're not going to run the ball. We're not dedicated to the run. We're just not. You know this.
I can dream, can I?
You can dream, but we're not going to run the ball. You know this.
At least get Pollard involved with the offense, for crying out loud.
You got 11 attempts last game. 11 rushing attempts. We're not going to run the ball. And part of it's the fact that we fell behind and we had to start throwing him.
Because it was like, if Tyron's out, you're going to have Bradley Chubb in Dak's lap all game.
And you're not going to be able to run the ball if you've got Zach Martin and Smith out. How are you going to run the ball with that line? We might be in trouble now. I don't like this game now.
Oh boy, Flo, come on, man.
I don't like, man. We might be in trouble. My money with Dallas. Man, I didn't know that Tyron Smith was going to be out.
I didn't know Tyron was going to be out either. That kind of shocked me today.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Oh man, that's not good. That's bad news.
I want Hooker to be back at least. I think him being on the back end of the safeties, have him be the point guy in the back end of the defense will help, especially in the run game, because that'll allow them to bring Donovan Wilson up and help in the run game.
Here's the other thing: should they move Tyler to Tyron Smith to that left tackle spot to help out, because he did pretty good covering down for Tyron Smith.
I think
Tyler Smith did great at
left. That's what I'm
saying.
And don't have him, moving from the left guard to that tackle spot, because I don't like that backup. I don't think that backup is going to do well at that left tackle spot. I'd rather have Tyler Smith's backup at guard.
I would have him play guard and put Tyler at left tackle.
Exactly, that's what I would say. I hope that's what they do. He did well. He wasn't Tyron Smith, but he did really well considering all things considered.
Yeah. I'm hopeful that we keep Zach Martin for this game. We probably won't find out until tomorrow. I hope he's able to go, because that would, like you said, that would make me not like this game even more if both of those guys are out. I
don't like it at all. Man, this is terrible.
I think Dak's going to have to be consistent. He's going to have to get the ball out quick. I think our defense is going to have to play much better.
Yeah.
Like I was telling Ken, I think we need to blitz him a little bit more than what we have. Get to him off his footing.
He's going to put 8 in the box, right? Flo said put 8 in the box.
You might as well.
Right.
Because they're going to try to run it. They're going to try to run it with Mostert and Nachane first before they start throwing it all over the field to Waddle and Tyreek. So Tyreek might not even play in this game. Who knows?
That's what I'm saying. He's not for sure, right? He's questionable, but he'll probably play. But he won't be 100%, I don't think, even if he plays. So that's a good thing, because that's where he burns you with his speed. He'll probably make some catches and things like that, but he won't, if he's not 100%, I think that's good for us.
Tyreek still listed as questionable. Their right tackle, I believe, Robert Hunt, is out. Some other key guys for them, especially on defense here, Xavier Howard is questionable. Javon Holland is questionable, so their secondary might be taking a big hit if neither of those two play. Emmanuel Agba is questionable, and then another guard, one of their backup guards, Austin Jackson, is questionable. So this is pretty much an injury bowl game almost.
Yeah, well, I'm glad they have a few injuries too, but yeah, this is going to come down to who scores first, like who gets up by 10 or more points first. Mm-hmm. If we can get up by 10 or more points, or if they get up 10 or more points, I think it's going to be tough to come back. Probably tougher for us because we're not good at it.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, man. Hey, but if neither team gets up by 10 to 14 points, it's just going to be a back and forth game. I feel like it's going to be kind of a shootout, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then whoever has the ball last may end up winning this game.
Mm-hmm. I think the over under is like 50.5 or something like that.
Okay, I'll take the over on that one.
The over?
I would take the over. Yeah, I would take the over. I think it's going to be like a 30 to 27 game, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be something in the high 20s, low 30s, unless someone, like you said, gets a big lead.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels like neither one of us is able to do that. But, if we fall behind, I know we're done because we haven't been able to come behind. And so that's just my feeling on that one. But if we can get ahead, at least we can hold on. Maybe, like you said, Alan, they start running the ball more. We get 10 points, 14 points up. We start really pushing the run, but we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who do you guys feel has to have a big game for us this week?
The running backs, the running game, bro.
They're not going to, man.
Come on, Flo, you can't even say that. If we don't run the ball,
they're not going.
Well,
but they're not gonna. They haven't run it all year. We have not run the ball all year, and we're not stuck with the run. Who has to? Yeah, the running backs. I agree, but who's going to? That's the question. Who's going to have a big game? I like Ferguson. He kind of had a so-so game last game. I feel like he's going to come out with a big game. I feel like they're going to go back to letting him kind of be that safety valve, and he's going to be able to beat some of those linebackers there. And I feel like he's going to have a better game because that's their secondary is not great. It's okay, but I mean I feel like those safeties, those linebackers. I think Ferguson can beat some of those guys, and so I feel like Ferguson's going to be the one that's going to have him. I agree, Canteen. We should be the running backs, but it's not because we don't run the ball. Not like that. We don't run it like that. So.
I think it's good. I think it should be Micah. I think Micah needs to have a big game defensively. Especially if they're going to have injuries on their offensive line. They're already banged up on their offensive line. They got third or second string guys in. Turn them loose.
Yeah, they figured Micah out. They just run at him. Just let him go.
All right, guys. So me and Flo had a conversation last week. Flo said we don't win out, we ain't gonna do nothing. Alan, what's your interpretation on this? If we don't win out, we done. What do you think, Alan?
I'm kind of on that same boat.
Man,
I don't want to believe it. Like I said, we've already got a playoff spot, so that's something we don't need to worry about. If we don't win the division, I have no confidence. I feel like we have to win the division.
Look,
and that would include beating Detroit and taking the number 2 spot. But if we're a wild card team, yes, we'll probably beat whoever the NFC South team is, whether it's Tampa or New Orleans. But after that, like you guys said, we're going to San Francisco. There's no two ways around it. So that's not going to happen.
But I do feel better, Alan, than this. If we win out last 3 games, even if we're a wild card team, I feel better about our chances winning in San Francisco or whatever. Because even if we don't win the division, I feel better if we win out. If we win these 3 games and we win them without an issue, I mean, Miami or Detroit could be close games, but I'm saying if we win these games,
we win out
and we look good, we can make a run. But if we lose any of these games, we're not going to make a run. Whether we get the division or not.
I can agree with you on that. We got to win out. We got to win out. But if we lose a game and we get blown out and we don't play as well, then I kind of agree with you on that, Flo. I got you.
If we lose any of these games, we'll make the playoffs, of course, but we're not going to make a run. If we can win these last 3 games, I feel like we can make a run regardless of winning division. It'd be nice to win the division. That'd be better. But I feel we can still make a run as long as we win out and finish strong in this season.
I know this is kind of getting a little too far ahead. I know we got 3 weeks left in the regular season. Is there anything you could see? Maybe I know Jerry's very loyal to the guys he said, and that's kind of why I say I don't think he gets rid of Mike McCarthy because he's kind of loyal to him right now. Is there any moves you could see them making? Maybe go get a defensive tackle or another linebacker or something like that in the offseason?
I mean, to be honest, you want to go, Ken? Go ahead.
It depends on where we fall in the draft, man. I think we won't be in the top 10 of the draft. I think we'll be on the lower end. like 15 towards 30, whatever. So what I'm thinking, man, is here's how we finish. I think we're going to finish strong. I think we're going to do better than what people have expected us to do. I think we'll win out. When we get to the playoffs, that's where we make our bread and butter. If we win a division, we can host one game in Dallas and then move on. That's what we make our bread and butter.
I think
go ahead, Flo.
I think our move's got to be on the offensive line. Tyron Smith is on his last leg. Zach Martin, he got hurt now, but he's been healthy from predominantly. They gave him a kind of a new deal. He held out, but he's not going to last more than another year or two. And so that's two great linemen you're going to lose here in the next year or two. You got to be able to fill in with some solid quality offensive linemen, and you can't afford to wait another year or two and draft somewhere else. So I think we should draft high on offensive linemen because you got your skill players. I mean, you may have to pay one or two next year, but if you get some young offensive linemen, you don't got to pay them right away. I mean, maybe not the first pick, but in the first and second round, we need to pick up some offensive linemen, quality ones, because we're going to lose at least two in the next 1 or 2 years. We're going to lose them, or we're going to lose them, or whether they retire or they get hurt again, or we're going to lose them in the fact that they're going to be as good as they have been in the past. They're going to start to see a sharp decline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you on offensive line. Right tackle is kind of another concern for me. I think Terrence Steele, shout out to Texas Tech alum Terrence Steele. He's kind of regressed a little bit. He kind of gets called for the most penalties on that side of the line. He's had some issues there. That might be a spot that they look at. I think left guard has been a revolving door. I think they're eventually going to move Tyler Smith to left tackle once Tyron retires. You can either move Tyler to left tackle and go find a guard to fill that spot.
Go ask the Patriots for a guard. They got plenty of them.
They got plenty of them that they do. I will say this: at least we're not the Giants with their offensive line issues.
Oh, they got terrible.
Yeah, I asked this question on Monday. I asked them if Evan Neal was a bust. I had 2 people say yes and 2 people say don't count him out just yet.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
On Evan Neal. So the Giants fan of all people would say don't count him out just yet. The other guys are saying he's a bust.
Man, listen, man.
Evan Neal,
yeah.
A lot of football that to be played, bro.
Yeah. We're getting into you're getting into the stretch run, man. You got to be playing your best football.
And you're seeing we commented on it before we went live. You're seeing games like we're watching right now, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. Who would have saw Pittsburgh put up 31 today? Nobody saw that coming.
As just like when the Jets scored 30
with Mason Rudolph at quarterback.
I mean, I didn't know Mason. I like Mason Rudolph for a game or two. I like him for a game or two. I think he can play well for a couple games, but after that, he's just going to start being Mason Rudolph. I mean, that's just the facts.
So I'm not saying it's going to be like last week. Anything can happen. I think the key is you got to get after Tua on defense and stop the run. Sure. Those are the two focal points. Get Tua off his game, and that'll help you out.
Here's the thing, though. I don't know if you've seen this, but man, Micah Parsons is being held almost every play, and they're not calling him. Not. I mean, I guess you can't call every holding, but they haven't even been calling obvious ones. I was in that game in Dallas. Man, he was getting held every other play.
A lot, that is true. Phil made a good point.
So I don't know if it's the fact that it's like one of those things with you remember Shaquille O'Neal? He get fouled on a lot of plays, and they wouldn't call it because he's so big and strong, and that and he'd still.
Man, can you imagine if that was Lawrence Taylor back? I know they give Micah the Lawrence Taylor comparison sometimes, but can you imagine if Lawrence Taylor was getting held all the time? He would go up to a referee and actually punch him.
Yeah, he probably would. But that's what I'm saying. He's getting held on every play almost, and so what are you going to do? All you can do is go out there and play and try and avoid getting held. But
all the rules. That's why I don't like most of these rule changes that they have. They benefit the offense. It's a benefit to the offense, and that's kind of like the couple plays that happened that were controversial, and that the roughing the kicker, which I thought was running into the kicker because the kicker kind of leaned into him.
Yeah, that was a terrible.
And then the pass interference. What was it on Jordan Lewis where he hit him in the back?
Yeah,
and they called pass interference on that. It's like, what is he supposed to do? He's supposed to just stand there and play patty cake with him the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
That's crazy. My god.
Yeah, I know. I mean, but to be fair, a lot, even some of the the national commentators and sports people have been talking about how the officiating has been terrible this year. I don't know what we can attribute to. Maybe it's just they're emphasizing certain things.
I think
I don't know what they're doing, but
not saying that Roger Goodell will do this. I think the NFL needs to look at the officiating throughout every game, not just the big games. Throughout every game, season. and look and see what is going on. Because, like you said, then I've heard people mention this before. The refs are only getting paid part time. And you're only paying these guys. If they're only being paid part time, they're not going to give a fuck. They're just going to go out there and call whatever they want to fucking call.
They want to call.
Yeah.
That's true.
You pay them full time. They might actually start calling it by the book. Who knows?
Who knows? I mean, it's hard. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just been bad this year. I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. It's been extra bad. I mean, you see a lot of, like, even the one you remember with Kansas City where he got obviously held, and they didn't give it to him. Yeah, it was a terrible call. Like a couple games ago, 2 or 3 games ago, and Kansas City probably would have won that game.
And then you get the calls that are right. That there are some, they could be ticky tacky and stuff like that,
right?
Like the offside one on Tony.
Yeah,
that was the right call. But you have guys saying that's a ticky tack call. You can't be calling that in a big game. And my rebuttal, and I said this on this show last week. My rebuttal was, if we're gonna not call that ticky tack, we're not gonna call the ticky tack one you made in the Super Bowl, and Philly wins that game.
Right.
But that wasn't ticky tack though. He held him twice in that one. But I'm talking about the other thing about Tony, though.
The Packers Chiefs game. I agree that should have been pass interference.
Yeah, but and then also what I was gonna say is that they looked at plays and Tony was offsides like 3 or 4 other plays before that. Why call it there and not call it the 3 or 4 times before? Why call it in that key moment of the game? That's what I'm saying. If you're gonna call it consistently. Or because they were talking about that he didn't get warned. Apparently, he didn't get warned because they didn't call it, and
what they said, they don't have to warn them.
Yeah, but
on the line,
almost everybody said that they give you a warning.
Like when I was playing receiver in Little League, this was Little League, like Little League football. When I was playing wide receiver, they always taught me to look at the official to make sure I'm lined up correctly.
Right.
That's like something you get taught in Pee Wee.
Right.
That's something you don't have to have a referee confirmation for that. That's really just on Kadarius Toney for being.
But
it's like you said, he's done it. He did it 3 previous times before that play,
and they didn't call it.
Mm-hmm.
So what was he to think? Oh, they're not going to call it. They're not calling it.
Right.
Or maybe he thought he was, because when you look down the line, you can't really see it because you're not right on the ball, right? You're kind of off from the ball a little. So sometimes it looks like you're depending on you're not looking right down the line, and so it looks like you're not offsides, or you feel like you're not, but maybe you are, by whatever 6 inches or whatever it is. So I don't know. I just feel like it's why they're making ticky-tack calls, but they're not making the egregious ones, and that's the problem that everybody's having, I think, with the officiating this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's like the call they made in the Saints Rams game, but they've been doing it all season. It's basically what it is.
Right. Yeah. So what else are we going to call about this game? What do you think?
There's not really much to talk about. I mean, we've said our piece on it. We've kind of talked about what we want to see, who we think is going to kind of step up. Hopefully, we get some leadership that steps up during this game. Like you said, I hope Ferg has a good game. I think tight end could do well against their secondary. Maybe CD has a big game. I really think the defense needs to get after it a little bit more. You can't let Tyreek Hill be Tyreek Hill. Keep him bottled up. And really just get after Tua. Just get after Tua. Get him off his game. Get him off his footing. That's really how you beat Tua. It's
Right.
just don't let him stand there in the pocket all day. Get after him.
Yeah.
Right.
And we've seen that teams that get after him. That's when Miami struggles on offense. Tennessee did that 2 weeks ago, and they came back and won that game.
Tennessee. Yeah, and for all the noise that people make about the Cowboys not beating winning teams, we beat Seattle and we beat Philadelphia. But they find a way to say, well, we were home against Philly and Seattle. They're not really. They're a 500 team. But for all the talk about that, the team who hasn't really beaten the winning team with a winning record, you can probably say it's Miami more than us.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't beaten a single team. I mean, the Broncos is the coolest thing. With I guess don't they have a 500 record now? The Broncos. But
that was back when the Broncos were horrible. And they were like 4-4.
That's what I'm saying. That's the only team that you can say they've beaten with a winning record this year. Every other team with a winning record, Buffalo, Philadelphia, Kansas City, and Tennessee didn't even have a winning record at that time. Maybe I did they have a winning record, but anyway, they haven't beaten any team with a winning record. And so
it's not like I like to compare these two teams because they're in the same similar boat.
Yeah,
it's different. Both have kind of the same stigma going for them. They both have really tough schedules because Miami still has to play Baltimore coming up,
right. And Buffalo. So
they've got it. They got probably a tougher schedule than what we do to end the season. And I kind of said this to Ken before we went live too. I don't know how you feel. I would love to have this game be the Super Bowl matchup this year, Miami-Dallas, just to make the haters shut up. Just to have all the haters squirm and
right.
And the media people be
like,
how the hell did these two teams get here? Right. Have it be Miami-Buffalo. Have it be Miami-Dallas.
That would be great. I don't think it will be, but yeah, that would be funny because for all the talk of can't beat winning teams, for all that talk and.
No, it's just like it would be just like who the hell do we root for in this game?
Right.
Right.
You got the ESPN guys who hate Dallas, especially Stephen A. Smith. You got everybody on Fox who's going to be going for Dallas because that's a heavy Dallas contingency there. So it's like the media is going to be like split down the middle on this.
Except Keyshawn Johnson, even though he played for the Cowboys, he's kind of a Cowboy hater. I don't know if that's his role in the show, but he's kind of the Cowboy hater. So I guess Richard Sherman is a little bit too.
Sherman's more of a hater though.
Yeah. Keyshawn he's kind of like Troy. He just constantly like criticizes and most people don't like Troy Aikman. Most of the Cowboy fans are tired of him. But man,
you like Skip Bayless. You like that garbage, man. You like watching that Fox garbage. This bunch of garbage. Flo likes that.
Is garbage. ESPN is garbage. What are you talking about?
Crazy, man. What
are you talking about? Oh my gosh,
man.
ESPN has garbage.
See, that's why I like watching with Burkhart and Greg Olson because there's no bias for any team. There's no bias for any team. They call it down the middle like they see it.
Olson's a little biased. I've seen his bias.
Olson's a little biased because he played in Carolina.
Yeah, he's a little biased, but yeah, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. I think Fox has better games too. Fox
they usually do. I mean, they're going to have this game. They're going to have this game. They're going to have Dallas Miami as their
Fox has
feature
better
game.
Games too, but I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Stephen
A's garbage, man. You like Stephen A, that garbage guy.
Stephen A's always been garbage.
Stephen A, a mastermind. Stephen A knows sports.
That's why anytime the Knicks fail, I like laughing in his face.
Get out of here, man. He's just a hater. He's made his living being a Cowboy hater. That's how he made his claim to fame.
But Jerry Jones loves him. Him and Jerry Jones collaborate, man. It's a money thing, man. He hate on Dallas so much to bring more revenue. Come on, man. You got to know the game. Yeah, you got to focus, man.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he's a great commentator. It just means he just hates on the Cowboys,
great,
and
that's
how he made his popularity. Just hating on the Cowboys. He don't know his sports.
We better win tomorrow. That's all I know. We better win tomorrow.
I know we better win tomorrow. That's for sure.
Those are facts, man.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
So let's get into that before we end up here. Our official predictions for tomorrow's matchup against the Dolphins here. Again, no Tyron Smith, Zach Martin questionable. Hopefully he plays. So who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Ken.
All right, man. So here's what I'm gonna say, man. The spread tomorrow is two Dallas, two Miami.
1.5 Miami.
Was 1.5. Dallas will win by a field goal tomorrow. Now, here are some key points I want to say before we end the show. If we get the ball first, we better take the ball. Don't defer to halftime. Get the ball and just shove it down their throat. We have to be able to utilize the run game. That's our key. If we can't run football, we're done. We're done.
What's your score?
Dallas 30, Miami 27. Close game by 3. Run the football. Mike McCarthy, run the football. That's the key.
Flo?
Well, I mean, for all the talk, Dak and Tua are pretty comparable stats. They're both throwing it around. For all the talk about Tua throwing all this stuff around, the Tua has 25 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Dak has 28 and 7 interceptions, and then 3,600 to 3,900 for Tua. So as far as throwing it around, that's going to be pretty similar. I just feel like we got to jump, like Quentin said, you got to jump on them early and just score early, often, get about 10 to 14 point lead. That's what we need, especially on the road. I feel like we're going to be able to run a little bit, but we never stick to the run. So it's not like we're going to run it down their throats, because we don't do that. For whatever reason, we don't do that. I mean, Buffalo did it to us. They didn't care that, Josh Allen had 94 yards. I mean, I feel like that's what we should do sometimes, but we don't for whatever reason. Maybe blame it on play calling. I don't know. Maybe they blame it on Dak because he gives them free reign on what plays to call, where to switch to a runner play or not. But I feel like we have to win these games. We have to win these last 3 games. This is a big game. I feel like it seems like we always bounce back after we have a bad showing. It just feels like we do most of the time. If you look at our schedule after we lost to who was it?
After we lost to Arizona, we had a big game the next week.
Back. It seems like every time we have
after the 49er game, we had the bye week and then beat the Chargers on the road.
Right, and then I think
after the Eagles game, we had a big game. We had a big win.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like we'll bounce back because we have after a loss, and so this feels like one of those games where we bounce back. I feel the Detroit game may be the closer game because the Miami game will be a bounce back, and maybe I think we should not blow this team out, but we should win this fairly handily. I'm going to go something like 30-20. Cowboys win 30-20. This will be a bounce back game, and then Detroit probably. It'll be that game where we kind of settle back in, and we'll be at home, so it'll be good. But I think it'll be a little closer than most of our home games are because Detroit is desperate as well, and so that will be the tough game in Detroit. But Miami, I feel like we're gonna be in control of this game. I feel like we stay ahead, we win. Maybe they make a late push, but we're ahead by 14 to 17 points at some point in the game, and then they make it close towards the end. I feel like we win this game fairly handily.
All right, what do you think, Alan?
When this scenario always comes up, I always like to refer to the game against Denver. What was it, a year or 2 ago, where they came in and just completely thrashed us. This was a team nobody expected to beat us, and they came in and completely thrashed us. What happened the week after? 40-3 over Minnesota. So. Yeah. There's a history of the Cowboys having big games, bounce back games after getting, beat down pretty badly, especially under Mike McCarthy over the course of the last 3 weeks. I've been torn on the fence because I think their running game can be crucial against us, but I really do think that the Cowboys are going to step up here and have kind of a bounce back game. I'm more of a lower scoring type.
Or I like to call it a get right game.
I don't think it's going to be quite the the blowout, but I'm going to say 27-20. I'm going to say Dallas wins on a touchdown at the end.
Okay, I think we I think we're.
I think this could potentially be what that Seattle game was. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I hope not, but I feel like we're going to win it fairly handily. We'll be ahead by 14 to 17 points at some point in the game, and then they'll make it close, 7 to 10 points, but we'll stave them off and we'll win the game.
Yep. Well, guys, first and foremost, before we let you know what we're doing, have a happy. Hope everybody is having a happy holiday so far. Merry Christmas to you all.
Merry Christmas,
gentlemen. Where can the people find you at, and what you guys got coming up?
All right, Alan. We'll be here. We're having a Christmas Eve service. We're going to go ahead and have Christmas Eve service tomorrow. Not service, but a Christmas Eve show. Tomorrow, we're going to do our typical NFL wrap-up, and on Sundays, we do about, 6:30, Canteen, about 6:30.
6:30.
About an hour Central.
Central,
yeah, at 7:30 Eastern, but we have that in between, kind of the end of the afternoon games, right about an hour before the Sunday night game.
So when the Cowboys finish up, we'll be ready to roll.
Yeah, so we may push a little later, but usually right as those afternoon games are finishing, we have a show where we wrap up the day, wrap up Saturdays.
It'll be Steelers Broncos. You won't be missing much.
Okay. But yeah, so we have that on Sunday night, and then Tuesday we're gonna have our typical show where we kind of touch on all the sports, NBA and baseball and things like that, as well as the NFL. We wrap up Sunday night, Monday Night Football at that point. And then start previewing the following NFL season. And we're going to hit in the playoffs. But you can find us at The Bottom Line Sports, The Bottom Line Sports. It's me, Canteen, Hot Take Jake, and Omar, the sports professor. All of us. We're always there. Clubber D drops in from time to time to give us his UFC takes and, combat sports type. He's our expert in that. And, we have him on Tuesdays usually, sometimes depending on what's going on with him and his his producer or somebody, his publicist sometimes doesn't let him come to the show. So we have to go through the publicist, make sure we can get him to show up. But anyway, so we'll find us at any platform, The Bottom Line Sports, on YouTube and all those, and come check us out. We have a lot of fun on that show.
Well, for me, no shows the next couple days as we'll be celebrating Christmas. I won't be on at all. I know most of the LTS guys won't be on for the next few days to celebrate the holiday. Tuesday, though, we might be bringing back the baseball show on Tuesday since Yamamoto has signed with the Dodgers, and we'll talk some more of the other signings that have happened in Major League Baseball over the course of the last week or so. Got to get that promotion in there. Got to get that promotion in there.
Salute to Troops hat. I just got it. It was a Christmas gift.
That looks cool.
Thank you.
It looks cool. But yeah, we'll have that Tuesday. I'm not sure about the Rec Room. I don't know if they'll be having a show on Tuesday, but usually I'll pop up on their show as well. Wednesday, we'll have the NFC East Roundtable back. We'll recap this week's matchups and preview next week's matchups, which we'll have some big ones next week as Dallas, of course, the Cowboys take on Detroit, and other stuff like that. And then, of course, next week, we'll be back next Saturday, pre-New Year's Eve, to discuss Dallas-Detroit and recap this week's game against Miami. So we'll be back, of course, with this show next week. And next Saturday, we might be doing college football show as well to preview the playoff and talk about some of the transfers.
Yeah. True.
So that's what I got. That's what I got going on. Otherwise,
also check out Ballin' Buds. That's Omar's channel, Ballin' Buds, sports and entertainment on all your platforms. He does a lot of combat sports with Cover D on there. So check him out as well on Ballin' Buds.
Mm-hmm. Also, check out everybody else here on the Let's Talk Sports Network. There's a lot of great content for everybody. They just started In the Hoop, which is our basketball show, NBA basketball show, if you guys want to check that out. A lot of other things. Of course, we have the Bottom Line Sports on here as well, and a bunch of other guys come on here and put their shows on here as well. So definitely check it all out. check everybody out. There's something here for everybody. Shout out to everybody. Hope everybody is having a great holiday weekend. Merry Christmas to you all. Gentlemen, any last words before we end off?
You got any, Kenzie?
Let's go Cowboys, man. Let's bring this thing home tomorrow. Let's go, man. Let's go.
Go Cowboys. Let's go.
Let's go Cowboys.
Yeah,
Merry Christmas to you all. We'll see you guys next Saturday. Until then, love y'all. Stay safe.
Stay safe.
care.
See you next time. Go Cowboys.